Assalamu Alaykum guys, and welcome to today's graded reading exercise. We're on the British Council website, and today's title is called Hidden Treasure in the Rocky Mountains. This short story is B1 graded, so it's a B1 piece of writing. And as always, we're going to cover this exercise in 3 steps. The first step is the preparation exercise, where we'll look at the new vocabulary. After this, what we're going to do is we're going to read the main article. We'll read the main article, and then at the end, we will check our understanding by working on the true and false questions and the multiple choice questions at the end of the story. The story, as always, has an author, and the author in this case is Nicola Prentis. You can find the link to the story. You can find the link to the story in the description below the video. And if you have any questions or comments, you can leave them on the comment section. Okay, so if we get started, we'll start with the preparation exercise. And as you can see here, the new words that we're going to have to learn the meaning of are listed here in the box. So the first one is trick. Number 2, canyon. What's a canyon? Poem. Clue. C-L-U-E. Treasure. And meaning. As you're aware, we're on a B1 graded piece of writing right now, and the A1 stories, what we used to do is we were given the words and the meanings, the definitions, and we'd had to match the definition with the correct word. In this case, what we'll be doing is we're going to fill the gaps with the correct word from the box. Fill the gaps. So in each sentence here below, we have a gap, and we're going to try and use the words that we have here to fill those gaps and build a meaningful or a correct sentence. Okay, so we'll be doing this by using the context of the sentence and trying to find words that co-locate with the words that we're given here in the box. So for instance, in the first one, we're told that strange email telling me I've won 1 million is probably a. So let's have a look at the words we have here. We have meaning, treasure, clue, poem, canyon, and trick. So from this sentence, we can understand the person doesn't believe he's won the $1 million. So he thinks it's a game. Someone is playing with him. So what word are we going to use? We're going to use trick. So what are we going to say? We're going to say that strange email telling me I've won $1 million is probably a trick. Okay, next, the next sentence, the space was formed millions of years ago by water moving along the river. So here we're talking about something physical, something that was formed over a great amount of time, and it has something to do with waters and rivers. So what is that going to be? It's not going to be meaning, or it's not going to be a clue or a poem. It doesn't feel like it's a treasure. So what else do we have? A canyon. A canyon is a deep gorge it's a deep crevice in the ground that runs for a long distance, and it's usually created by rivers. So we're going to say canyon here. We're going to say the canyon was formed millions of years ago by water moving along the river. Okay, and sentence number three. Sentence number three, we have the, and then a space. I wrote, so it's something that we can write, won the competition, and it was published in the school magazine. So the space I wrote, so it's something that you can write. So what are we going to say? We're going to say, let's have a look at the words first. Poem, clue, treasure, and meaning. You can't write a treasure and you can't write a meaning, but you can write a clue and you can write a poem. Okay, so we can write a clue and we can write a poem. Here, it's something that can win a prize. So clues don't usually tend to win prizes, but poems definitely do. So we're going to say a poem. The poem I wrote won the competition and it was published in the school magazine. Number four, let's have a look at number four now. Guess where I'm taking you tonight? So the first person says, guess where I'm taking you tonight? And the second person replies, I don't know. Give me a space. Give me a space. So what could it be? Give me a meaning? That doesn't sound right. Give me a treasure? Okay, that doesn't seem to fit either. So what else do we have? Give me a clue. Give me a clue. That seems to be the correct word for this space. So here we have, guess where I'm taking you tonight? I don't know. Give me a clue. Okay, the first letter is H. Okay. Sentence number 5. The map says the is buried under the castle walls. The map says the space is buried under the castle walls. So what do we bury? What can we bury? Can we bury meanings? Can we bury a meaning? Figuratively, yes, but here it doesn't seem to fit. So what can we bury? People tend to bury treasures. So here we're going to say the map says the treasure is buried under the castle walls. Finally, we're on sentence number 6. We've only got one word remaining, so let's just see if this word can fit into this sentence. I don't understand. I don't understand. What is the space of this word? So understanding, things that you understand, you know their meaning. So here the man says, or the woman, I don't understand. What is the meaning of this word? Okay, so we've completed the exercise. We've got 6 sentences. In each, we've filled in the gap with the word that we think is the correct one. And once we've finished, we can check if our answers are correct by clicking on this button down here. And there we go. We've got 6 out of 6. We've got 6 out of 6, which is 100%. And that's the end of the preparation exercise. Now we're going to read the main text of the story, and after that we're going to check our comprehension or check our understanding of the short story by answering the true or false questions here and the multiple choice questions that we have here. Okay, so let's start at the top. It's not only pirates in stories who go hunting for buried treasure. Every year, thousands of people search in the Rocky Mountains in the US for hidden treasure worth $2 million. And the clues to where it is are written in a poem. The treasure is buried by an art expert, Forrest Finn. The treasure was buried by an art expert, Forrest Finn, in 2010. He was 80 when he made the trip into the Rocky Mountains by car and then on foot. So that's one clue. It is where somewhere an old man can walk to with a heavy box. But the 9 main clues in the poem, available to read on his website, are much more difficult to understand. Treasure hunters look at the meaning of every word in the poem, and they look for extra clues in Forrest's 2 books about his life. Here is one part to get you started. Begin it where warm waters stop, and take it in the canyon down. Not far, but too far to walk. Put in below the home of Brown. Okay, so this is the poem with the clues. There are many possible meanings. You can probably start with warm waters and the home of Brown. Some people look for a place where warm and cold water meet, perhaps 2 rivers. Others look for a more poetic meaning. For example, a person's tears could be warm water. Brown might be a person because names usually start with a capital letter. So maybe you have to look for people called Brown who live in the Rocky Mountains. Unfortunately, Brown is a very common surname. These places must be near a canyon. But what does the 3rd line mean? How far is too far to walk? Also, the term put in is a strange way to say go. So maybe Forrest chose these words for a reason. You can see why people spend a long time finding clues, can't you? The only way to test your ideas is to follow the clues to try and find the treasure. Forrest advises people to wait until spring to avoid dangerous winter weather. And he says people shouldn't go alone. But not everyone has listened to his advice. 3 people have gone missing while looking for the treasure. Police who work in the area want Forrest to take back the treasure and put a photo of himself with the box on the internet. They think the treasure hunters will stop looking and no more will die. But Forrest refuses. He thinks people spend too much time inside their houses and offices on their computers and phones. He remembers his own childhood adventures in the Rocky Mountains, and he wants families to learn about nature and have adventures together. His plan is working. Joe's dad took him camping in the woods, and he says, I enjoyed the adventure of it. We saw some bears, but our dog scared them away before I had to shoot them with my gun. But we had to sleep on the ground in the freezing cold and everything got wet. We couldn't even light the fire. Some treasure hunters have been looking for the box too many times to count. Marty and her daughter Libby traveled from their home in Georgia to search in Montana. Libby says, the thought of bears around every corner was a horrible fear for the first 2 years. But you slowly lose the fear of the animals. I love the scenery of Montana, seeing so many animals up close, camping in the mountains, and crossing rivers and streams. It's all so exciting, even if we never find the treasure. But there are people who think the whole thing is a trick. Some say maybe Forrest had a box of treasure, but they don't believe he hid it in the mountains. Others say he took it back years ago. They say maybe he just likes the attention. But even the people who complain it's a trick often still go to the Rocky Mountains to test their ideas. Of course, one possibility is that someone has already found the treasure and not told anyone. But that won't stop hundreds more people going treasure hunting this spring. Where would you start looking? Okay, so that's the end of the reading of the text. Now we're going to have a look at the questions. So check your understanding, true or false. So here we have a list of 6 sentences, and having read the story, so we've read the story, now we're going to be given a statement or a sentence here, and we're going to be asked, is it true or is it false? So the first one, the clues are easier for old people. Number 2, every word in the poem might be important. Number 3, everyone knows the Rocky Mountains can be dangerous. Number 4, Forrest Finn thinks people should change the way they spend their time. And then number 5, Libby is still afraid of animals. Number 6, the police think the treasure isn't really there. Okay, so these are the true and false questions. Read the sentence. If it's correct or if it's true, just click on the true. And if it's false, click on false. Okay, once you've finished, you can click on this button here, finish, and it will give you your score. Okay, next we have multiple choice. Multiple choice. Here we have 4 questions. In each one, we're asked, choose the best option to complete the sentence. Choose the best option to complete the sentences. The first sentence, the best time to look for the treasure is spring, winter, or nighttime. Okay, that's the first question in multiple choice. The second one, you can't find the treasure without the books, the poem, Mr. Brown. Okay, number 3, space shot a bear. Space shot a bear. So is that Joe shot a bear, Libby shot a bear, or no one shot a bear in the story? So whichever one is correct, just click on it and then move on. Move on to the next question. So the final question, question number 4, this sentence here, the hunt will only be over when space. Okay, so when Forrest takes the treasure back, someone finds the treasure, or Forrest dies. Okay, once you've finished with all 4 questions and you've picked a reasonable answer, then just click on the finish button here to find your score. Okay, so there you go, guys. Today's reading again was Hidden Treasure in the Rocky Mountains, graded B1. As I said before, you can find the link in the description below. I hope you guys have found this video helpful. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.